Alright, Fallout 76, developed by Bethesda Game Studios, released in 2018. Having previously played Fallout 4, the immediate prior installment in the Fallout series, I didn't expect much from this game, though I had hoped there would have been improvements with the graphics and story. Sadly, in my experience and opinion, that wasn't the case. That being said, I did enjoy that this was a multiplayer game and that everything could be played cooperatively. You will need an internet connection to play Fallout 76 for those reasons, and although it is a multiplayer game, you can play it alone for nearly all the trophies if you want to. The ESRB rating for Fallout 76 is mature, 17 and older. Although I do agree with the reasoning behind the rating, I tend to lean towards teen, 13 and older. This is because when looking at the nature of the game, it's set in a post-apocalyptic scene or environment. It would be highly unlikely that the laws and moral rules we follow today would apply in this depicted scenario, which would span and affect all ages. That said, the game does also lean more into fantasy than realism to approach this. Specifically, weapons and creatures that do not exist can be found in this game, and although some dialogue and sequences can be disturbing, in my opinion, Fallout 76 walks a thin line between what may motivate violent behavior in a player in the real world and what is meant to be taken as entertainment within the context of the game itself. So, although I'm indifferent on the ESRB rating, I do feel for completing games for mental fitness purposes, Fallout 76 is fine for 13 and older. The game is also considered an open world game, meaning that there isn't a way to beat the game. There's no difficulty settings or anything like that because of that as well. So instead, it has seasons where players can unlock items and features within the game. All the while, the game does have main quests, miscellaneous quests, and daily quests. So although there isn't any time frame to beat Fallout 76, in order to get 100%, it will generally take at least 130 hours. There are a few glitches that would help speed up the process for certain trophies, but overall, there's nothing that would significantly change the completion time. There are no game difficulty trophy requirements, because there is no difficulty setting. However, your completion time will be much shorter if you play with others because it is a multiplayer game. It's meant to be played with other people. On a scale easy to expert, Fallout 76 trophy list is easy if you're playing cooperatively, but it can be kind of hard if you're playing solo, to the extent that you're allowed to. In my opinion, the biggest mental fitness benefits Fallout 76 provides are mental endurance and social intelligence. As of this review, the biggest trophies that highlight mental endurance are Troglodyte, A Solid Foundation, and Friends in Low Places. These trophies generally require a significant amount of grinding to obtain. Interestingly, the way these trophies are set up also provide a teachable moment that I find invaluable, especially given how I kind of ran into this exact situation in a prior game, Injustice 2, and I went the opposite route. So with that, I'm going to tackle this in a different way than I normally do in my reviews. As of this review, again, Troglodyte requires a significant amount of time because of its prerequisites. Specifically, the trophy only requires a player to get 100 kills using the auto axe. However, this weapon is character locked, meaning it cannot be traded for or gifted by another player. You must earn it yourself on each character. At first, it was a seasonable unlockable that was relatively easy to obtain. However, since the conclusion of that season, the weapon must now be purchased for 1,000 stamps, which you can only earn 5 to 10 stamps per day if you're playing solo, or generally, realistically, 14 to 34 per day if you're playing multiplayer. It is technically possible to get more if you're doing the multiplayer route, but it would require a massive group effort dedicated only to helping you obtain it. And I'll get into that more below. Beyond Troglodytes, A Solid Foundation and Friends in Low Places requires you to obtain max reputation with 2 different factions in the game. It can be done on one character, but it will generally take several weeks to complete, as quests that help boost reputation are only available once a day. That said, it is technically possible to get more through glitches or significantly longer grinding time by changing multiplayer servers for open world interactions on the map that would give minimal boost to your reputation. But overall, the way Fallout 76 is built, developers can make changes that would make these trophies easier or harder to obtain in the future. But generally, for purposes of this review and completing games for mental fitness, they would remain the trophies that best highlight boosting mental endurance. That said, it's entirely possible to get these trophies faster than I have generally referenced, as I previously said. However, the cost would be a significant amount of time and effort that would likely prove to be more harmful than helpful. So taking Troglodytes, for example, realistically, you're looking at a group of 4 players, which is the max amount in any group allowed on a server, to help you get this trophy faster. However, if you manage to find people who are willing to create multiple characters, you can get as many stamps as possible at the expense of others' time and effort to help you. Similarly, you can greatly improve your completion time for A Solid Foundation and Friends in Low Places if you manage to do the open world encounters that provide minimal reputation points, meaning you could server hop and possibly complete these trophies a lot sooner than generally what is considered realistically expectations. I kind of said that all weird, jumbled. Sorry about that. However, the time you expend to get these minimal extra reputation points make it unreasonable when looking at the larger picture of completing the game or utilizing your time in real life. And that's the point I'm trying to get at here. How much is your time valued? And when is playing a game for mental fitness harmful to the overall benefit it should be providing? Like physical fitness, too much in one session can ultimately cause you harm. The same applies here. You can make a minimal effort, for example, which doesn't really help and would take longer for you to obtain your goal. Or you can make a reasonable effort with a group of people to obtain your goals in a reasonable time. Or you can make an intense effort with a group of people to obtain your goals as quickly as possible, but at the expense of other things in your waking life that could use your time and energy on. That you could use your time and energy on. Ideally, you go with option 2. Using a reasonable amount of time with a group of people. And this is helpful in your waking life as well across all ages. As a kid, you have to ask yourself how much time you dedicate to one school assignment or friend is actually helpful. Sure, you might get a bad grade or you lose that friend, but if you're dedicating all your time and energy to one specific thing, you're likely losing out on more that would benefit your own health and happiness than you would get from having just dedicating so much time to, again, that one school assignment or that one friend. Similarly, as an adult, how much time you dedicate to one job assignment or your significant other is helpful. Sure, you might not get the best job results or your relationship may end, but again, if you're dedicating so much time and energy to one specific thing, you're likely losing out more on your own health and happiness than any benefit you are gaining from dedicating so much time and energy to that one job assignment or that relationship And I find that to be an invaluable life lesson. Recognizing what is reasonable for what you are trying to obtain and balancing that with your own health and happiness is just as important as gaining mental fitness benefits out of completing a game like Fallout 76. Pretty deep, I know. Equally important is reasonably helping those who helped you attain your goals. For me, I was fortunate to find a solid group of players to help me obtain troglodytes. But even though I was the first to unlock it, I continued to play to help 2 others who didn't need much more to get it. However, that last player in my group needed quite a lot more, so we made sure that he was able to find chat and find another group to help continue. So again, knowing how to balance your time and being reasonable with expectations when working with others is critical to maintaining a healthy and happy lifestyle, in my experience. And when I look at Fallout 76's trophy list, I think, again, that's the hidden gem behind it all. And learning all this through a game, you wouldn't think it would be like that, or it could easily translate, but it does, and it's very helpful. And when you mess up in a game, it's generally okay, because again, it's just a game. You do that in your waking life, though, it could have some pretty tough consequences that are long lasting. So again, I know it seems very deep, but again, it just all goes to the fact of why I truly believe playing video games for your own mental fitness, benefit, and health and well-being is just so valuable and critical, really, to being a better version of yourself. And moving on, when I look at Fallout 76's trophy list, compare it to the game, and considering the biggest mental fitness benefit to be mental endurance, I would have actually expected trophies involving Fallout 76's seasons. For example, one trophy should have been complete a season scoreboard. The scoreboard is basically a check mark about everything that you have done within that season. This would have still built mental endurance, but it would also have required players to be more interactive with the gameplay features, and for example, completing challenges, daily quests, events specific to that season. I feel it was a lost opportunity, and hope Bethesda considers it for future Fallout or any of their open world games. As far as adding trophies that would have improved other aspects of mental fitness, I don't think it's necessary, since the game is built around social interaction and teamwork, and to that end, there's enough of it available. So overall, I had expected more from Fallout 76. Regardless, I would recommend it and playing it if you're looking to build mental endurance and social intelligence. And really, also because of that invaluable life lesson it can teach you. For me, Fallout 76 really helped me build mental endurance. And if you have any questions about the game or mental fitness, or just want to share your experience with Fallout 76, feel free to leave a comment or message me. I will do my best to answer any question in a reasonable time. And alright, another review in the bag. If you want to watch me play live, follow me on Twitch. If you'd like to hear more about mental fitness, game previews, and initial impressions, then follow me on Instagram. I also take some polls on Twitter for games I should play next that are in my library if you're interested in that. And as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all on the next video.